Hi everybody and welcome to another piano review here on the Merriam Pianos YouTube channel. We are reviewing a brand new model, not just to us but to the whole world, which makes it kind of unique because there aren't a lot of new model launches happening in the acoustic piano world now, or really at any point. It doesn't come up very often, but today we're looking at the Hoffmann V2. This is a new upright piano from Bechstein, Europe. It is about a 46-47 inch piano, and it is quite a lovely one to play. Really been enjoying it. So we are going to be taking you through what I think makes this instrument a unique piano to possibly partner with. It's got definitely some very specific strong points to it, and taking you through what I think delivers those strong points, maybe some other things that are a little less strong, and sort of giving you a comparison to how this fits in with the Japanese pianos versus the higher level German pianos. Anyway, I'm going to cover all of it. So thank you so much for joining us. If it's the first time that you have found us here on YouTube, we would really love for you to subscribe and become part of the community of piano lovers from all over the world. Leave a comment, become friends, and hit that notification bell, because that makes it so much easier to know when we do come out with other videos, which is usually at least twice a week. So without further ado, let's dive right in to the Bechstein built Hoffmann V2 piano right away. New model releases in the acoustic piano world are a fairly infrequent event, at least when you compare it to the digital piano world. That's for a number of, I suppose, fairly obvious reasons. One of them is that technology itself is often what drives the impetus for a new model on the digital piano side. New sound technology comes out, a faster, less expensive chip that enables the piano to maintain a price point but increase the technology. That's a reason. Competition. There's a variety of factors that are driving innovation on the digital piano side. And a lot of those factors are absent on the acoustic side of things. And I think another reason that happens is that the differences, the upgrades that you see on a digital piano are more obvious. They're easier, more tangible for especially people newer to the piano world, for them to perceive. An improvement in headphone technology, or an increase in the number of voices, or the addition of USB audio interface. These are all things that are easily identifiable. The value of those additions are well understood. And on the acoustic side, if a piano manufacturer puts in all kinds of money to innovate a new kind of bridge or redo their scale designs or anything, only the most nerdiest of people are going to play that instrument and go, oh yeah, well, that was worth it. Because most of the time, the differences from one good acoustic piano to another good acoustic piano are strictly in the nuances. They're in the shadows. They're in the periphery. The core of the sound really doesn't change. I often make the comparison to wine, and it's true. Once you get up into the $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 bottles of wine, except for people who are trained to discern those differences, you're really not going to have a massive market demand driving it. It really is a connoisseur's world at that point. And I think that acoustic pianos fall in the same category. So this is all to say that new models are a fairly rare occurrence, because there's just not very many natural market forces driving the innovation of new models. But here is one. This is the Hoffmann V2, and this is a model which has just been released by Bechstein Europe. It is part of their Vision series, joins another model, the V126, and this may be replacing some of like the V118. We'll have to see. But this is the V2, and this is an impressive instrument for a wide variety of reasons, and we're going to go through those. It's also not a perfect instrument, but when you balance it between its price point and its performance, the impression I'm left with is that this is one astoundingly good piano for what they are asking from a price standpoint. Like, just bonkers good. So let's play it first, let you hear it. We are, as always, recording this instrument with a stereo pair of large diaphragm microphones coming to you unaffected. There's no reverb, there's no compression, there's no EQ, anything, just dry right off the back of the piano. And for people who are new to these videos, we do our best to mute my lav mic while I'm playing the piano. Occasionally I might be talking and you'll hear the lav mic in and out, so you may hear some of those moments in the video, but by and large, 95% of what you're going to be hearing throughout the video is those two microphones completely isolated on their own. Here's the V2. There is an unexpected clarity to this tone. It's so clean, and that comes from a number of things that you take for granted once you get up into the upper echelons of piano, but down more in a consumer level, and this kind of straddles those two worlds. You know, it's going to be more expensive than a Yamaha U1 or a Kawai K3 100, but it's going to be less than any German piano. And in fact, there are some Indonesian pianos or Chinese European hybrid pianos that this completely overlaps the pricing. It is really quite a compelling price point that this instrument comes in on. It's a very clean sound. And when I say clean, I'm talking about like right through the whole range, or almost right through the whole range. When you're playing a note, there are no uncontrolled harmonics. Absolutely zero false beats. So when you're not talking about really great upright pianos, Sometimes it's an absence of what's not wrong versus a presence of what's really, really great that still makes an instrument a good choice. Yeah, because there are three aspects to this instrument that really stand out to me. One is the clarity. Two is just how good the factory prep is, including voicing and regulation on this instrument. And then the third is sustain. Those three aspects to me stand head and shoulders over anything else that I've played in this price category from anybody. Now, the clarity comes from a few different factors. At least I'm guessing that it's coming from a few different factors. You can't get clarity without a great scale design and a production which is perfectly executed. An absence of any false beating, an absence of any distortion, whether you're really pushing it or playing quietly, means that you've got perfect execution on whatever the design is, even if it's a fairly simple design. You've got perfect muting, and you can go through and you can see that they've really carefully muted all of the non-harmonic parts, of the string, make sure you're not getting any buzzing, any, unrelated harmonics coming off some of the tailing sides of the strings. You've got mahogany hammers from Bechstein, some of their top mahogany hammers, which is always considered a premium. Mahogany is a very dense, but it's a very light wood, so it doesn't, there's not a lot of distortion in the shape of the hammer when it's hitting, transfers energy really efficiently. There's not a lot of mass, so it gets off the string right away. The prep on this contributes to that clarity. I mentioned the prep was exceptional. The actions come perfectly regulated, but fitting the hammer to the string is also perfect. You open this up and everything is aligned as though it has sat in front of a concert technician, which it actually has. And then the sustain is the third aspect of this instrument, which to me really, really stands out. Now we were actually, talk about a nerdy piano moment, we were actually recording sustain lengths for a whole bunch of pianos for fun the other day. We did it on the Concert A, which is a kind of one of Bechstein's flagship products, and we had 19 seconds in the middle of the piano of really clear fundamental tone. So we're not talking about still just a little shimmer of inharmonic tone happening. Like, we're talking fundamental tone sustaining 19 seconds. It was incredible. This one is close to about 13 seconds for a piano which is, 4 times cheaper or 5 times cheaper, and considerably longer than anything we were getting on a Kawai or a Yamaha that we had in our under the roof, and right up there with like concert shimmels. It was really quite incredible to see that kind of sustain coming out of this instrument. Now, I mentioned this isn't a perfect instrument. Here are the things that you are still going to experience as slight deficiencies. That's not a good word. Drawbacks. This is not a German piano, but it's half the price of a German piano. So here's what you're still missing out on. This is not as colorful as what you get when you invest in something that's up into the $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 USD range for an upright piano. Because of the cut of the spruce that's going on this versus a really, really high-end instrument, because of the bridge design that's going on here versus a really, really high-end instrument, quality of the bass strings they're going to be putting on here, some of the other designs, like this is using a muted capo bar rather than A-graphs. So there's several aspects of the instrument which is going to limit the amount of color or the range of harmonics that each note produces, and then how well it can sustain that. And that takes a lot of design sophistication, and it dramatically increases the cost of the instrument. So not because this specific model isn't doing it, but this category of piano just doesn't do it. So the V2, not going to be quite as colorful as some of those, but just as colorful as other instruments, just slightly less, but with way lower levels of clarity and just clean tone. It's such a clean tone. The other spot that this shows its size more than anything, because this is about a 46, looks like it's about a 46-inch piano. The bass has plenty of guts to it. A little less consistency through the bass range of this scale design, again, than what you get on a similar size, but getting into sort of a first-tier German piano. You know, either whether it's a Sauter or a Schimmel Classic series or a Bechstein Academy series or something like that. Now that's less likely to be a scale design issue and more likely that to be super picky with bass strings is really costly, and you normally don't get that kind of bass string selection going on when you're talking about this range. So you've got a really nice powerful bass, not quite as consistent as what you get at a higher investment, but much better than what you are going to find on bread and butter Japanese and Indonesian pianos. Up through the middle 80% of this piano is just absolutely gorgeous. A really nicely done treble, again, clean and a little on the simple side. Not even the right key. Nor can I actually play that, so I'm not even going to fake it. So here's the V2. You've got a piano which is, for a lot of people, if they're aware of the option, and they're buying this for pleasure, and they can hear the difference that clarity brings, is going to be a very logical upgrade from a budget they had already established at around, you know, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. If that was feeling comfortable, this is not much of a push beyond that. And I could see a lot of people being really excited at being able to move to a European piano, you know, like this. It's a very versatile instrument. The action is so responsive. This is going to work very well for classical, for jazz, for contemporary, anything like that. It sings beautifully at a low dynamic level. But you can also really push it and not have it distort. Again, testament to good scale design, good hammers, good strings. And then as an added bonus for people who kind of like this sort of thing, I think this cabinet's really stylish. Reminds me of the A124 Implicent that they have. But I mean, Bechstein's not the only one that has this type of styling. I've seen this on Xylers, German Xylers. I've seen Schimmels that have this kind of nice, very kind of 90-degree edge styling to it. And now we've got it available on something like this V2. The only drag, no wheels. So please be aware of that. If you get this and are suddenly surprised that this needs a bit of a crew of people to move around. But that's about the only truly negative that I've managed to find on this whole instrument. So just to wrap this up, here's the brand new V2. Things that stand out for its price range: truly great sustain, really clear, clean tone throughout the entire range of the piano, and factory prep on this instrument, which is at the same level as what you would expect on the highest level of German upright piano. You do not have to have a technician touch a thing when this piano comes out of the crate. Really glad that we had a chance to share a brand new instrument with you, because that doesn't happen very often, as I said at the beginning of the video. If it's the first time that you're checking us out here on the channel, we would love for you to subscribe and become a part of our regular community of piano lovers. They're all over the world. They're lovely people. You can read their comments. Very, very informed and you know, musically passionate people as part of this community. So you're going to love it. So subscribe and hit that notification bell. My name is Stu Harrison. This has been Merriam Pianos on YouTube, and we'll see you again soon for another video.